year 1904, the place was St. Louis. It's a town in the United States, and there was a very big fair going on there. Imagine a big park with lots of children, their parents and their grandparents, excited to be there and waiting in queues for going on rides like the Ferris wheel. And there were a lot of people who were also waiting in queue to get an ice cream. And one of the ice cream vendors, his name was Arnold Forneshoe, and he had a small problem. He had a lot of ice cream with him to sell, but no dishes in which he could serve them. And right next to his stall was a waffle seller. Now, if any of you has not seen a waffle, imagine something very crisp in the shape of a grid or pattern of squares. It's quite yummy. This waffle seller, Ernest Hamway, he ran over to the ice cream stall carrying some of his waffles. And he neatly folded the waffles in the shape of a cone and, quietly gave them to Arnold Forneshoe. And he said, why don't you serve your ice cream in these? It'll solve your problem where you don't have any dishes. And people loved both the ice cream and the waffle cone in which it came. And thus was born one of our most iconic desserts, ice creams in cones. And we were all mulling if there was something, any object that we use in our everyday lives that we might want to munch once we've finished using them. What could that be?
Like the pizza, you get a pizza box, right? In that, the pizza pictures are there, but inside it is literally different. So I would like to eat the pizza box. And if it tastes like the pizza on the cover.
Okay, so just to clarify, pizza box has to be also made of pizza with the exact same toppings that you've ordered.
Chocolate. When I eat the chocolate, the wrapper is left, so I can even eat the wrapper.
Okay, so next, chocolate wrappers have to be made of chocolate.
Yes.
Whoa!
Notebooks. After we use all the pages of our notebooks, we can just eat it up instead of storing it away or throwing it.
Okay, now that sounds like you want to literally consume knowledge. Will come in very handy before your exams.
One more idea connecting to Isabella, like he could eat the mobile so we could get all the internet knowledge in our head. If I could just eat it and just keep everything in my mind, I'll be the next Albert Einstein.
I absolutely love all your ideas, and not just Albert Einstein. You might be a combination of Albert Einstein and Albus Dumbledore, because you may need a little bit of magic for that internet to jump right into your head.
Wow!
Okay, so let's see. Here we are eating chocolate wrappers and notebooks. What do you think today's episode is about?
Our topic will be sustainability.
Lenovo's new sustainable laptop packaging. Farmsil pencils help us to grow trees. When my Farmsil pencil became shorter, it was not fitting in my hand. So I removed the capsule and grew a plant.
Oh, so we are not going to talk about how to eat paper and chocolate wrapper and digest it. It's an episode about different stories that each of my co-hosts in today's show has picked up, about companies which are coming up with very interesting ideas on how to keep planet Earth safer. Hi there, this is Sangeeta, your host from India, and I host this podcast channel called What's New Today? It's a kids and family podcast where we take one very interesting news story and I talk about it with a bunch of curious children who join me in every episode. We try to find news stories that are both intriguing and super interesting for both children and adults. And joining me in this episode are...
Hi, I'm Dhanush. I am 8 years old and I study in Children's Academy, Malan.
I am Shanaya from Children's Academy, I am 9 years old. My name is Isabelle and I am from Children's Academy School, Thakur Complex, and I am 9 years old.
Hey, welcome, one 8-year-old and two 9-year-olds. I'm all ears to hear about the news stories that you have picked up, about companies doing very interesting things to keep planet Earth safe. What story shall we start this episode with?
Pencil pencils. Because I love to plant trees and I have a plant house also. Pencil pencils are normal pencils, but when they start growing smaller and smaller, you can take out the capsule that is found at the back of the pencil and then plant it. And you can take care of it like a normal plant.
Wow!
All these pencils sprouting into trees sounds very interesting and fascinating to me. But just to clarify, you don't need to cast any magical spell, right? After you finished using the pencil and then you put it into the soil and it grows into a tree?
No, we don't need any magical spells for this. And I've tried it.
Thanks, Shanaya. I will 100% take your word for it. And thank you for clarifying that even muggles can grow plants and shrubs from old pencils. How about we tell our listeners about one more thing? There's not just one brand of pencil. There are a lot of brands of pencil sellers today who put a little seed at the end of your pencil. So once your pencil is almost unusable, you can just take that seed or you can plant the whole pencil itself in your terrace garden in a pot. So you can look for these on Amazon, Flipkart, or even in your neighborhood stationery store.
There's a Lenovo laptop, Z13 laptop, that is made up of flaxseed fiber.
Oddly enough, I must admit this. I'm one of those that likes to munch flax seeds. So I'm a little curious. Do you think Lenovo made a laptop with flax seeds because if children get bored in the middle of an online class, they can just tear a piece of that laptop and munch it? Might that have been the idea?
Yes, I think so. The whole laptop is not made with flaxseed fiber. Yes, so I think so it is made up of wood cover.
So a part of it is made up of wood cover so that you don't chew up the entire laptop in the middle of a Zoom class. I can see Isabelle is strongly in disagreement with both of us.
It is better to make a laptop with flaxseed fiber because it's environmental friendly.
Okay, so apart from keeping us well fed in the middle of boring online sessions, Lenovo thought to itself, after people discard old laptops, which ideally we should of course not be throwing away into a dustbin, if ever, a part of it lands up in a landfill or a dustbin, it would be biodegradable by itself. So apart from flaxseed, if there are any other flavor variants that you would like to suggest to smartphone companies and laptop companies?
Chocolate. Then we can eat it.
Lenovo, are you hearing that? Chocolate variant is in demand. I'd also like to tell our listeners that many other laptop companies such as Dell and Acer, even these companies are coming out with laptops where at least some part of it is biodegradable. So the next time we are looking to buy a laptop, amongst the many factors that we consider, we might want to think about this too. Do we have any more interesting stories from other companies?
Puma, the shoe company, they have made a shoe box which also acts like a bag. So you don't need to buy any paper or plastic bags after you purchase your shoes. So it's like you just open the bag, you can keep your shoes and then push it, and you can actually carry it around like a bag.
Puma call these bags clever little bags.
Very nice, right? So these clever little bags, as I understand, they will replace any single-use plastic. So you will not pick up a shoe from a Puma store in a carton and then put it in a single-use plastic and then bring it home. Instead, you'll pick it up directly in that clever little bag. Do you want to take a wild guess as to how many such single-use plastics Puma thinks it will save because of the clever little bags?
18 million, 1/8.
1 million. Or 20 million.
Very close. We'll save nearly 30 million plastic bags because of this. Here's a trivia question. Do you want to guess what contributes or where you and I contribute to the maximum amount of plastic wastage? I'll give you a one-word hint. Swiggy.
Swiggy containers.
Yes. And the last and the most interesting news story that we'll talk about in this episode is an invention made by a small entrepreneur who's based out of India, a form of packaging that we can all use to get our food.
They are 100% biodegradable and is made up of banana leaves, turmeric, straw, and wood pulp, and many more. And it can be used as a cattle folder afterwards.
This is a very good idea because when we use those single-use plastics, they are just useless after we eat. But this, we can even use it as cattle fodder, as Dhanush said. And one more thing I found interesting is that already the man who started this idea, he has already received many orders from different countries and places. So it's a great initiative taken by that man. I can't remember his name.
I think so. His name is Kumar or something.
Oh, when I shared that news article with the three of you, I think it did contain a mention of his name. Let me just look it up. Yeah, his name is Kalyan Kumar. You're right, Dhanush. And interestingly, he uses tamarind seeds, peanuts and rice bran and some 20 other items with which he can make this packaging material. So if you order your food, your gulab jamun or noodles or pasta, and you happen to get it in this kind of a packaging material, once you're done using it,
We'll reuse it again.
or you can throw it away to be used as
Cattle fodder.
yes. So that way we'll probably give our cows and goats something healthy to eat and not the plastic bags that we usually discard in our garbage bins. I loved all of the stories that we spoke about today, and I think 8 and 9-year-olds have not yet started buying laptops or ordering food on Swiggy on their own. So I'm a little curious, if you had to tell all your friends about one thing that you can do, towards making things a little more sustainable, what would that be?
Instead of buying bottles like Bisleri bottles for any of our car trips or road trips, we can instead take our own steel bottles and refill the water.
On that very scintillating and highly responsible note from a 9-year-old, let's move to the next interesting part of this episode.
Quiz time!
Question 1. There are many brands of companies that make pencils which today keep some seeds at the end of the pencil, or the back side of the pencil. Which brand did Shanaya talk about?
Pencil pencils.
Pencil
Pencils.
Question 2. Lenovo has come out with a range of laptops where a part of their cover is made of something biodegradable. What is the biodegradable thing I'm referring to?
Flaxseed fiber.
And the last and the final question, the next time you step out of home, What do you think you should be carrying with you?
Cloth bag. Our own steel bottles.
We can also carry our tumbler.
Thank you so much, Dhanush, Shanaya, and Isabelle. And I really appreciate that all of you put in the effort and took the time to read all the news stories that I had shared with you earlier before we recorded the podcast. How did you enjoy the process of reading about companies and such ideas?
Yes.
It was very interesting to me. If the podcast comes, it doesn't stain our eyes also.
Oh, you're talking about why you like listening to the podcast, Shanaya.
Yes, and it improves my listening skills.
Thank you so much, Shanaya. Thanks a lot for that free marketing you did. Yeah, I'm thrilled that all of you enjoy listening to these podcasts and that you're aware that they keep your eyes safe and your brains sharp. So, but before we wrap up, is there one episode that you really enjoyed listening to and would like to recommend to other listeners?
So I love the episode about EA football, FIFA football, part 1 and part 2.
Ma'am, I love the robotic fish episode a lot. My favorite episode so far is the one about where the high schooler created the on Minecraft. He created the whole universe. That was really interesting and it's a big achievement.
Thank you so much for sharing your favorite episodes. If any of our listeners would like to listen to the episode on the FIFA football game or the Minecraft gamer or the episode about robotic fish, you can find links to these in the show notes below. And before we wrap up, just two requests from all of our listeners. If you enjoyed listening to this banter, please do click to follow or subscribe wherever you're listening to this podcast. And if you're one of those that would like to get an alert on WhatsApp each time a new episode is released on this podcast channel, you can join our WhatsApp community. It's free and link to this is also in the show notes below.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.